Hi, this is KJ70KW, Dead Ham Walking. I'm at Travelers Rest State Park in Montana, just south of Missoula. This is a park that actually is one of 3 parks, so we're trying for a triple POTA today. I'll show you how I do my setup, and let's see how many contacts we can get. Travelers Rest State Park, which is in the town of Lolo, Montana, just south of Missoula. It's pretty much where the intersection of Highway 93 and Highway 12 come together. And it's a nice day, about 12:30. We're gonna go see if we can get some contacts. We're at the north end of the Bitterroot Valley, so we're not on any type of mountain peak or pass or anything, so I'm gonna see what I can get. My good friend Dennis was here a few days ago, and he got 46 contacts from almost this exact same point, but he was working CW. I'm not quite sure how many watts he was pushing, but I'm gonna be trying SSB on phone and 15 watts, and let's see if I can even get close to what Dennis did. The park itself is quite interesting. It tells the story of the Native American population that was here right about the time that Lewis and Clark came through in their expeditions exploring. In fact, one of the parks that this is the triple park of is the Lewis and Clark Trail. They actually came right through this property here during their expeditions. In fact, this is the only verified campsite of Lewis and Clark. The only archaeological verified campsite in the nation. I didn't know this. Very interesting. Obviously, there's a lot more to do at this park when it's not winter and full of snow. And there's a couple other images here to show you what's available at the park. Very interesting place. Here's how I do my setup with my antenna. I've got a 20-foot collapsible fishing rod, fiberglass. You can see where the extensions come out. It's going to extend out quite a ways. But at the very, very end, we've got this very thin part of the fishing pole. Here's my wire. It's 88 feet long. I'm going to show you how I attach the end to the fishing pole. I carry with me at all times a bag of rubber bands. I use these to attach the antenna to the fishing pole, and no metal parts involved at all. So you can see here is the end of the fishing pole, and as we get to the end, I have attached my wire with a couple slip knots on 3 rubber bands. This will hold quite well even in a high wind situation. I'm going to run down to the end of the parking lot here and attach this pole to a light pole here using these bungee cords. So I think I'll go down to that far light post down there and do my attachment. Might be a little hard to see, but you can see I've got the bungee cords strapping the fishing pole against the light fixture, and we got the end of the fishing pole way up there. My wire's coming down, and now we're going to walk the wire back to 88 feet and set it up in the truck. This is my hiking stick. It's actually a handle to a shovel or a rake. I bought this at the hardware store, and I use it as a hiking stick when I'm hiking up trails. And I left the little brad on the end because I'm going to string my antenna through this little loop on the end so that I've got the other side of the antenna about 4 feet off the ground. All right, here as you can see, I got my hiking pole stuck between the bed and the cab of the truck. Goes up here, and my wire, which comes from behind me, loops through that little brad, and then the wire goes into the back of the truck. I can be inside nice and comfy doing the POTA in the truck. So I brought my moral support with me. He likes to go on all these expeditions, but he doesn't like to be too cold, so he's all snuggled up in the blanket. And I've got my Elecraft KX3. I do not use the microphone that came with the Elecraft KX3. I use an Alex mic. You can't buy these anymore. I bought these used on the market. And what's nice about it, it's got the microphone and the speaker in your hand, because the speaker that comes with the Elecraft is not very good. But with this microphone, I can put it right up to my ear and hear almost everything. This is the Parks on the Air app, desktop version, www.pota.app. You can get this on your mobile phone. It's just a much smaller screen. But it has a lot of things on it. What I like to use it for is to look at active spots for parks on the area. You can see over here I am logged in. Right now it's towards the evening. There aren't that many spots that are active. But this shows all active spots in the POTA world at the moment. And you can see up here there's 15. The reason I like to use this app is because when I go and activate a park, before I broadcast that I'm out there, I search for park to parks. So I will go on here and look for people who are already looking for contacts. And it refreshes about every minute. So you'll see everything flip over after every minute. And that's because more people are coming on. Other people are respotting other activators. What I like to use this for is I can limit what I'm looking at, because I only operate on single sideband phone. So when we go over here to mode, you can see that there are 15 current people spotting. But if I filter this down to SSB only, now I'm looking at all the people I can talk to. And at the moment we've got someone in California on 40 meters, 40 meters. There's somebody on 20 meters. Anyway, it limits all the noise I have to look and search through to find somebody. And conversely, if you are just a CW operator, you can filter this down to CW only. It happens to only be one person working CW on parks on the air at the moment, someone here in Connecticut. But as I said, you can limit it to the things you want to see. And you can also limit it to the band. If you only want to work 20 meters, you can click on that. And the only 20 meter single sideband person operating at the moment's here in California. So as you can see, I like to do parks to parks first. And once I get through all those, then I'll go ahead and I'll spot myself on a specific frequency and wait for everyone to come to me. But it's a real good app. I love using it. And again, it comes in a mobile version, and it works exactly the same. Well, we're all set to go. As you can see, we've got a counterpoise coming off the radio and going out the back side window. It's 37 feet long. It just lays on the ground, sort of a combination of a radial and a ground. And coming in from the back window off that pole is my antenna, the orange wire hooked into the radio. We're all set to go. The dog's happy. And it's 30 degrees out, but nice and warm in the truck. Let's go. Let's see what we can do. Well, here's the part in the video where you get to watch me get QSLs. And unfortunately, when I push the button, I pushed slow motion. So it is unintelligible and 5 times longer than it should be. Needless to say, I had a pretty good day. As you can see by my logbook here, 2 pages worth of contacts. I think it's 27 total. Actually, you know, when I do watch these videos of other people doing POTA and SOTA, it can get a little tedious watching 15-20 minutes of Morse code or 15 and 20 minutes of them going back and forth. I like that part, but it can be a little too much. So ideally, I would have loved to have you hear me talk to about 3 or 4 contacts. We're not doing that today, but I'll show you my logbook and go through it with you and show you how my day went. Well, here's my logbook from QRZ.com. I put everything in there. And as we look over to the left, we can see that all these contacts involve the 3 POTA parks, K-2602, K-4572, and K-4574. My first contact's down here at the bottom at approximately 2026. And as I mentioned before, if we look over to the right, I searched for park to parks initially before I went and spotted myself. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 park to parks before I committed myself to 14.312. And from there, everybody came and chased me. A couple of these people were park to parks as well. We had one here and we had one here. So I had 7 parks to parks. I was very happy with that. And in general, this whole thing came down over about 50 minutes. So it was quite busy. How far did I get? 1859 miles, 2233 miles. That was my furthest one. That guy was in Florida. So we're doing like 1,500 miles, a lot of 700-800 miles. I was happy with that. I know my friend Dennis got about 42 contacts on CW. He worked a lot longer than the 50 minutes I worked to get these, but not to take anything away from Dennis. I know he got out further than I did, being just CW. I was SSB. I got a wider footprint. But I was happy with this. I was hoping just to at least get the 10 to qualify for the parks, but 27 in 50 minutes, I was real happy. So we're in the same ballpark, Dennis and I. I'll learn CW someday and get out there a little further. But in all, this was a real good day.